This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning, and we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 23rd of March 2020, and I am DM.
I'm Tuam.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines this morning, here they are. In the Star, virus, bars closed and flights banned. In the Daily Nation, church, the weak link. And in the Standard, agents of death.
Yes.
So all three papers talking about coronavirus. I'll give a brief summary of the topics here that are being discussed. In the Star, they're referencing the Mutahi Kagwe press briefing of yesterday evening. And he, of course, told us bars now, restaurants are to remain shut until further notice. Flights will be banned until from Wednesday onwards. Flights coming in, going out, I gather. And basically giving additional information on the cases that we have for coronavirus. Additional cases, I think there were 8. So that's that. And then the other papers, the church. Yesterday we still had a lot of people going to church. I think on Friday people still going to the mosque. And they're basically putting people's lives in danger.
But thankfully the directive from yesterday has suspended all church and mosque activities.
Absolutely. Until further
or religious
notice.
gatherings.
Religious gatherings, including, I think,
temples
weddings,
and
funerals are also supposed to be very few and very few
15 people
attending.
maximum.
Yes, and then in the Standard, agents of death. And basically here what they're telling us is there's a deputy governor of Kilifi who came from Germany, refused to self-quarantine, and has been interacting with very many people within the county. Apparently he even I think went to see Raila. Raila, who then subsequently went to the State House
national
prayer meeting on Saturday. So
met the head of state.
Irresponsible individuals. And Mutahi Kagwe said yesterday, these are people who will be dealt with firmly by the law.
So when he recovers, he will be charged.
He should be charged.
With attempted murder.
He should be charged.
And he will.
Yes.
But further to the headlines, there is more news today because the president called a press conference earlier today.
Absolutely.
What did he say?
The president called a presser today, and he told us that Telecom Kenya and Google have come up with an initiative. I think it's called Google Loon. And Google Loon is an initiative that will have balloons up in the sky that will give us 4G internet service that will help us learn, work from home, and also continue the learning activities of our young ones, of the pupils. And
now,
the balloons.
It's important. But is it urgent? I think at a time like this, this is the framework that the president should use, or the government should use. If something is important and urgent, then it gets addressed. That is what it is focused on. I think that this press conference could have been delivered by the Minister for ICT, Musheru. We awaited this conference thinking that there was going to be a directive, that the president was going to tell us that now there is going to be a full-on lockdown, or now the government has done this. Enforced by the military, or the government has put aside some isolation wards. Things that are visible and urgent and useful. A balloon in the sky, I'm not very ICT savvy, but then I ask myself, is this balloon going to drop chloroquine from the sky?
Precisely, what we need right now. So you're saying this is an important announcement, yes, but not urgent.
Look,
I shouldn't have been dealt with by the president.
Let me look at it this way. I can see what the president is trying to do. He is saying we are in a war-like situation, but at the same time he's also saying life should go on, and let's not panic as such. We are taking measures to ensure that this thing does not affect us, and we should also try and be as normal without really interacting with each other. However,
I think he is saying, but him coming to give a press conference about this, he is saying life goes on for a certain select few people. Because an Uber driver cannot work from home unless this balloon is going to teleport his clients. A hawker is not going to work from home.
And I was actually going to that as well. You see, this situation we are in right now, my friends, I think we are in World War III and we don't realize it. The entire globe is fighting this one disease, and it's taken its toll on the world. Now, in my view, I think what should happen is this. Military should move in immediately. Let us have stadiums across the country become containment areas. All right? Now, he said that he will engage private sector on Wednesday. I actually think private sector should have been engaged today. Balloons should have come on Wednesday. You see, and if you're going to engage private sector, let's put it this way, and be practical. We can be practical and say that there are 20 top companies, blue chip companies in this country. Let them contribute each $1 million, and they can contribute to foodstuffs. Let stadiums be distribution centers, all right? And then government can come in with the military and provide medicines for these people, have entire containment areas. Now, if you have this, then you can be able to put in a lockdown and say, private sector, this is how we are going to deal with it. We are going to stop businesses for an entire 2 weeks, and let's deal with what we have to deal with right now. But if you're going to talk about balloons right now, then it means we could have a problem coming in the next 1 week that even balloons will not matter. No matter how much you speak of technology, it will not matter. I get what he's trying to do, but I think the priority
focus
should
on
be
the important and the urgent.
Absolutely. It's a tough one for the government, to be fair, because you know, they're damned if they take drastic measures now, and damned if they don't. Now, they've chosen not to take extremely drastic measures yet, because that is very disruptive, and that is not also very sustainable. But yet, you know, one should probably err on the side of caution. Than on the side of
I think so.
Absolutely. But then
things will go well.
But then put yourself in the shoes of the president. He is a symbol of unity of the country. If Kenyans see him as a guy who is panicking, then the stock exchange could even lose $1 trillion shillings by tomorrow.
No, we're actually not calling him to panic. We are calling him to take charge and take control and be very decisive and say this is what will happen. That actually stabilizes the stock market, because then investors and people see that measures are being taken to mitigate against the perils of coronavirus. And the thing is, we are fortunate to be working within an environment where we have foresight and hindsight. We have foresight because countries very recently experienced what we are going to experience in a few days. So we can make extrapolations, we can project and say this is how it's going to pan out. These are the things, these are the lessons that we should learn, these are the things that we should apply that then causes this situation not to degenerate. We also have hindsight. There have been pandemics in the past. In 1919, Sierra Leone, the Spanish flu. In Ebola, in Liberia, just in 2014. Those are the things that should inform the decisions of government, because our demographics match those ones of those countries.
I mean, I agree.
You see, the Italy and China do not have Kawangware and Kibera equivalents. They don't.
I think you're saying the best hospital in northern Italy is suffering.
It's really overwhelmed.
How do you lose 790 people in a single day?
And you see what's going to happen once the old people then clog the health system, the younger ones also begin to take the hit.
That's true.
And so even the younger population might not be able to get sufficient healthcare to deal
with even other things that are not that have nothing to do with coronavirus. If you have
and you know, we have a minister of special programs, right? And I think this should be a coordinated effort. We have one minister who you can see is working, and I think all egos should be put aside. You should have interior moving in right now and closing off entire sections of the city.
So what we're saying is more drastic action probably needs to be taken.
And the time is now.
Well, the time is now. We have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines. We ask ourselves 3 questions. Are they topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, and finally thoughtful or just plain lazy? I must commend the Star. The Star has foregone, instead of putting pictures of personalities or situations like the Daily Nation and the Standard, they've chosen to keep repeating the message
and the infographics
on coronavirus, using very informative infographics. And so today they're talking about quarantine 10 tips, and that kind of repetition in a moment like this is very important for the nation. That notwithstanding, I don't think the headline is very interesting, so I think we toss that, and we probably give it to the Standard.
yeah.
Agents of death.
Yeah, crisp, concise.
Yes, to the point. Yeah.
And so on to the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country.
Yeah.
We also have a three-part criteria that we use to judge the cartoons. Are they humorous or dry, satirical or pessimistic? And finally, effective or just plain lazy?
And here you have ozone.
Yes.
And ozone is a drawing of three things. First is sanitizer with soap. Second is a tap full of water and it's pouring on hands. And third is a Bible. And the caption there is, which of the following prevents COVID-19? Is he taking a shot at the church?
Yeah.
He is, and Kenyans at large.
It's actually the Bible and the Quran.
Yeah. It's a true commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenyans' religion has such a hold on people, and one of the hardest thing to change is behavior.
Yes, absolutely.
He's calling out Christians who are of no earthly good, as well as Muslims who are of no earthly good. And that means simply that at this point, yes, prayers are important. Yes. We don't discount that. But knowledge is also very critical.
Absolutely.
You know, and logic dictates, and statistics and empirical evidence is showing us that if you don't keep within a safe, distance of each other, if you're going to crowded places, you're going to get the virus. And whether or not you ask God for an intervention, you will get it.
And the infuriating part is that you're not just endangering yourself, you're endangering other people, you're endangering an entire
population.
Country. And we must call out the Catholic Church.
So we continue to pray.
For saying that.
I think the main person with responsibility, charged with responsibility, should be government. Government must not trust society in these times. Kagame was arresting clergymen and say, how the hell are you having services? You should, anybody found organizing such service must be arrested.
Absolutely. You see, when the Catholic Church put out the letter last week, before Sunday arrived, they said that their congregants and followers are welcome to come into church on Sunday. 11 million Catholics to congregate around the country and spread corona. That is when the government should have actually suspended religious gatherings.
I think we tossed that cartoon.
We tossed this one?
Regardless.
In the Standard, Gamzo has drawn a man, a despondent-looking man reading a paper that says, wash hands with soap and water, work from home. And then the second part of the cartoon is the same man, thinking, I'm a casual worker. I have no water, there's dry taps at home, and he tosses the paper and walks out.
And notice that his shoes are gaping over.
Look, guys,
demonstrating his
let me tell you, this to me should be a winning cartoon. Look, when you have weddings and the people come from funny places to meet and they have not washed their hands, and you have them cook for people, you can have 20 people dying of cholera. Now, the guys who come from informal settlements come to your workplace, give you all manner of diseases, and we are telling people to use sanitizers. This is why I'm saying this needs military intervention. We should have water bowsers, water points in every point, maybe in slums.
We can't afford the kind of crisis.
You cannot afford this kind of crisis.
Absolutely. This cartoon is very true and hard-hitting. We are all told, wash your hands for 20 seconds. A lot of people don't have water, let alone water that can run for 20 seconds.
Majority of Nairobi,
your hands.
Majority of Nairobi does not have running water.
What I do think, though, is that militant engagement is not enough when it comes to the informal settlement. They should also, the government should also have community engagement, because we are talking about change of behavior.
That is true.
They should pass on information through trusted groups.
Absolutely.
And in the Daily Nation.
We have a prison setting here, and there's a guy talking on the phone. All of them have masks. And there's flies all over. And the guy is saying, I was arrested for hanging out in a crowded place. And the irony is, he was arrested and thrown into a crowded place.
A crowded cell.
More reason why the military needs to intervene, because we don't have the capacity to afford to be putting people in prison. We just don't. To have a crisis.
Absolutely. So which one wins? I think the standard is good. I would go with the standard.
Yeah.
Student standards. Okay, and so on to our final thought. What is our final thought?
And now our final thought. It is inspired by a book entitled The Secret State, A History of Intelligence and Espionage by Colonel, Kenyans like to say Colonel, John Hughes Wilson.
He begins with a quote from Sun Tzu. If you do not know others and do not know yourself, you will be in danger of losing every single battle. The writer says that every great commander in history has relied on intelligence, good intelligence, as a force multiplier or as a guide to when and where he or she should strike. Those without good intelligence, historically, have gone down in defeat, in death, and in disgrace. So he says that some call intelligence the second oldest profession in the world, but many others, including himself, argues that it's actually the first oldest profession in the world because knowledge of where the enemy is and the need for self-preservation and survival is higher than all other urges. And I think I agree with him. Now, today we're looking at the first part of the book, and he calls it setting the stage. So here he's really giving us a history of espionage and military intelligence. And he's telling us that the Bible actually provides some of the oldest accounts of military intelligence. He begins with the story of the Israelites wandering through the desert, the Sinai desert. And they are looking for a fertile place to settle with water. And the Lord God tells Moses, send men, in other words, spies. So he does, and he gives them what in now modern times is called critical intelligence requirements. That is the portfolio that spies are given. He asked them to go see the land, what it is, how the people there look like, are they strong, are they weak, are they many, are they few? And later on, Moses' successor Joshua used the same approach when he sent spies to Jerusalem, to the walled city of Jerusalem. But this time, he sent them under the protection or under the guidance of a friendly prostitute called Rahab. And the author doesn't resist here to say that, you see, this is the first collaboration between the oldest profession and the second oldest profession. And it's not the last collaboration. Up to now, I think the technical term for it is a honey trap, or the KGB calls these kind of arrangements men and women who are sent to be honey traps. They're called swallows by the KGB. So since the biblical times, through the ancient Greeks and Romans in Africa, all over the world, evidence abounds of both simple and sophisticated methods of espionage. One interesting story is about a young king who spent 7 years of his adolescent life or his earlier life posing as a camel boy or a merchant sometimes, and he would go through the bazaars and the market and lived his life amongst the people before taking up the crown when he was 21 years old. And as a result of this, he gained such immense knowledge of the people and the place geographically that it is said that he conquered almost all of Asia Minor. His commanders seemed to know every pass and road in advance. They knew the identities of the traitors, the turncoats, and the disaffected. So part one sets the stage for not only the importance, but the history of military intelligence specifically, and espionage generally.
Absolutely. And one of the foremost agencies or institutions that really established the practice of intelligence was the Catholic Church. I've always suspected the Catholic Church of being more than just a religious organization. And in this book, what the author is telling us is that those structures, those practices, and I'll talk about them in just a short while, those, everything that they had set up, the Catholic Church, was for more than just religious ends. It was for social control. It was for espionage. And so he says the Catholic Church's intelligence service rested on 4 principal pillars. 1, the power of the confessional.
Yes.
2, a monopoly on literacy and learning.
Yeah.
3, good communications through the very well-established hierarchical system.
Yes.
And 4, the Inquisition.
Yes.
Are you telling us the confessional?
The confessional. Listen, the confessional, guys. This is probably the most, this has been the most elaborate scheme for conducting espionage for the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Particularly during particularly during the last 2 millennia before the 18th, 19th, 20th centuries.
Yeah.
Correct.
So listen to this. He says the confessional was, and I think still remains, a fabulous intelligence gathering system.
Yeah.
The ritual of confession was mandatory.
Yeah.
The religious theory was that sin could be forgiven after it had been confided to an ordained priest.
Yeah.
But in practical terms, therefore, everyone had to reveal their deepest, darkest secrets and plots to the priest.
Right.
To hold back was to risk eternal damnation.
Yeah.
And so for hundreds of years, millions of people, from peasants to princes to kings, poured out their innermost secrets to the Catholic priests across Europe.
Right.
Now, ideally, priests were supposed to keep the secrets of the confessional, but the system had an inbuilt flaw.
Yeah.
The priests themselves had to confess to cardinals. They had to confess all the way to the Pope.
Right.
And so, thus, guilty knowledge would be passed up the church's hierarchy until it reached Rome itself.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to happen, but we would be naive to think
that it
didn't happen.
Now, our prince, our head of state,
I was thinking the same.
is Catholic. So his confessions go all the way up.
Who knows? All the way to Pope Benedict.
Let me tell you, if you just look at the way the system is aligned, we have the president, who's a staunch Catholic.
Yeah.
Then he's DCI. He's a staunch Catholic. Then he's a governor, central bank governor.
Staunch Catholic,
it's
and so many others.
It's such an elaborate.
So if we go to the Vatican, we can actually solve all the mysteries of our country right now.
No, our actual point is Uhuru Kenyatta has set up an elaborate snitching system.
How about you, Tua?
No, I was looking at the role that the intelligence played in the American Civil War. Now, Abraham Lincoln, first choice of the Union's intelligence was a man called Alan Pinkerton. Now, you might know the Civil War pitted 2 teams, pitted 2 guys. That was the Confederates and the Union.
Yeah.
Now, Lincoln belonged to the Union.
Of course.
Now, this Alan Pinkerton guy was a Scottish detective, and he set up an agency, and he called it He called it the Pinkerton's Detective Agency. Now, Lincoln needed to infiltrate the Confederates. And Pinkerton had an idea. So he hired a guy called Timothy Webster as an undercover agent. Now, Webster pitched camp in a place called Baltimore, and Baltimore was full of Confederates. And his work was to spend money on booze and girls. At the same time,
honey traps.
And his work was also to badmouth the Union. So he badmouthed the Union so bad, and he got favor within the Confederates. Now, he infiltrated the Confederates until to a level he got to what they called the chief, the Confederate War Minister's office.
Wow.
And this was the guy who was planning for war with the Union. Now
so the spy was in.
The spy was in, and now he became a chief. He became sort of a double agent. So he was with the Confederates at the same time he was with the Union. But he kept giving the Confederates baloney intelligence, things that were useless intelligence. But in real sense, he was actually giving the Union, actionable intelligence. Now, he got in so bad that this war minister's office gave him a 37-page report of where the Confederates' war positions were.
Would be.
So he went and gave Pinkerton this report. Now, things did not go as well. This guy got sick, this guy called Webster. He got sick, and Pinkerton sent 2 spies to a place called Richmond in Baltimore to see if what's wrong. I'm not getting the intelligence that I used to be getting. Now, the Confederates recognized some of the spies that Pinkerton had sent. And they nabbed them, they shivered them, and asked them, what's your business in Richmond? And they were tortured a bit, and finally they gave in and they said, we had come to get a guy called Webster. To see if
Webster is okay.
Now, so who's Webster? Webster actually works for us. Now, Webster, in his coronaviral stage, he was caught, and he was put to the gallows and he was hanged. Now, this story reminds me of a man called Eli Cohen.
Absolutely.
The Mossad spy who was caught by the Syrians.
Absolutely, because specifically because he rose so high as a spy.
Can you imagine?
The
minister is it the Minister of Defense? You know, I mean that's crazy. But double agents don't normally make it. You know, they don't have a good ending. They don't have a good ending. You can play the system for such a long time, but somehow, somewhere, someone will always do it.
They say no pies for spies.
Absolutely.
On one hand, you are a hero.
Yes.
But in the enemy territory, you are enemy number one.
Absolutely.
So it's risky business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So on a day that we had a winning headline and a winning copy from the Standard, I will leave you with this quote: "Know yourself, know your enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories." That is Sun Tzu in The Art of War.
Right.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also on your TV screens. Find us on Pang, Free to Air, Go TV, and Star Times. Have a good evening.